There is a fiber stronger than cotton that lasts 3,000 years. Fabric woven from it was found wrapped around pharaohs, still intact after 30 centuries in desert tombs. It requires half the water of cotton. It needs no pesticides. It grows in poor soil that cotton cannot tolerate. One harvest produces fiber, oil, and food from the same plant. For 8,000 years, it clothed civilizations from the Nile to the Baltic Sea. Egyptian priests wore it as a symbol of purity. Roman emperors demanded it for their togas. Medieval European peasants and kings alike depended on it. Then, in 1863, one industry made a decision that erased it from Western memory within 2 generations. Not because it failed, because it succeeded without the inputs that generate profit. A fiber that outlasts everything, grows anywhere, and requires nothing, cannot compete with a system designed to sell chemicals, machinery, and replacement products every season. This is the story of the fabric that wrapped pharaohs and the conspiracy that buried it under cotton. Welcome to Recession Roots. Before we dig into this vault, if these roots matter to you, the best way to preserve this knowledge is simple. Subscribe, hit the bell, and share these roots with those who need to remember what we forgot. The story begins in 1881 in the Egyptian desert. British archaeologist Flinders Petrie excavates a tomb at Hawara. Inside lies a mummy wrapped in fabric so fine, so perfectly preserved, that Petrie initially believes it must be recent. Laboratory analysis proves otherwise. The linen is over 2,000 years old. The fibers remain strong enough to be worn. This is flax, Linum usitatissimum, the plant that gave us linen. For millennia, it was the most important textile fiber on Earth. Then we forgot it existed. Archaeological evidence places flax cultivation at 10,000 years before present. Seeds found in Syrian caves date to 8,000 BC. Fragments of linen fabric from Çatalhöyük in Turkey date to 7,000 BC. By the time humans invented writing, flax had already been clothing them for 5,000 years. Ancient Egypt elevated flax to sacred status. The god Osiris was wrapped in linen for his resurrection. Priests were required to wear pure white linen. Pharaohs were buried in hundreds of yards of the finest fabric their civilization could produce. The word for linen in ancient Egyptian was the same as their word for light. Purity, divinity, eternity, all woven into fiber. Egyptian linen production reached industrial scale. Entire villages specialized in cultivation, harvesting, and weaving. Tax records from 1500 BC document thousands of workers dedicated to flax processing. The fabric became currency. Soldiers received linen as payment. Temples hoarded it as treasure. When archaeologists unwrapped the mummy of Ramesses II in 1974, they found linen that had protected his body for 3,200 years. The fabric remained flexible. The weave remained tight. No synthetic material developed in the 20th century could match that durability. The Romans inherited Egyptian knowledge and expanded it. Pliny the Elder documented flax cultivation across the empire in the 1st century AD. Roman sails, Roman tents, Roman undergarments, all linen. The Latin word linum gives us both linen and line because flax fibers were used for rope, string, and thread. After Rome fell, flax cultivation spread across medieval Europe. Flanders, the region spanning modern Belgium and northern France, became the linen capital of the world. Flemish weavers produced fabric so fine that European nobility paid fortunes for it. The Flemish word for flax gives us the English word sleazy, originally meaning thin, high-quality linen, not cheap imitation. By 1700, every European country grew flax. Irish linen, Scottish linen, German linen. Families processed it at home through the winter. The crop required no purchased inputs. Seeds saved from last year's harvest planted this year's crop. The same fields grew flax for generations without fertilizer. Then everything changed. In 1793, Eli Whitney patented the cotton gin. Suddenly, cotton, which had required laborious hand processing to separate fiber from seed, could be processed mechanically. cotton production exploded. The American South became a cotton empire built on slave labor. By 1860, the United States produced 2/3 of the world's cotton. The Civil War disrupted that supply. British textile mills, dependent on American cotton, faced catastrophe. They scrambled for alternatives. Egyptian cotton filled some demand, Indian cotton filled more. But linen required different machinery, different skills, different supply chains. Mill owners had invested millions in cotton infrastructure. They were not about to abandon it. After the war, cotton resumed its dominance. The southern economy rebuilt around it. Northern mills standardized on it. Chemical companies developed pesticides and fertilizers specifically for cotton cultivation. Mechanical harvesters optimized for cotton replaced human hands. The entire agricultural industrial complex aligned around one fiber. Flax could not compete with that system, not because it was inferior, but because it did not require the inputs that generated profit. Cotton depletes soil. It requires rotation or heavy fertilization. The synthetic fertilizer industry, born from World War I munitions factories, found a perfect customer. By 1950, American cotton farmers applied millions of tons of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium annually. Cotton attracts pests. The boll weevil alone caused $16 billion in damage over a century. Pesticide companies developed increasingly toxic solutions: DDT, organophosphates, neonicotinoids. Today, cotton uses 25% of all insecticides sold globally, while occupying less than 3% of agricultural land. Cotton needs water. Irrigation systems costing billions transform deserts into cotton fields. The Aral Sea, once the fourth largest lake on Earth, lost 90% of its volume watering cotton in Uzbekistan. The Colorado River rarely reaches the ocean because cotton farms drain it dry. Flax requires none of this. The plant grows in temperate climates with natural rainfall. It tolerates poor soil. It resists most pests without chemical intervention. It actually improves soil structure through its deep root system. Farmers can grow flax on the same land for years without depleting fertility. Modern analysis confirms ancient wisdom. Flax fiber has a tensile strength of 1,500 megapascals. Cotton has 400. Linen is nearly 4 times stronger. Flax fiber absorbs moisture better than cotton, dries faster, and resists bacteria naturally. Linen fabric becomes softer with each washing, while cotton degrades. A cotton shirt lasts 3 to 5 years with regular wear. A linen shirt lasts decades. This is precisely the problem for an industry built on replacement cycles. In 2018, researchers at the University of Leeds analyzed the environmental impact of fiber production. Cotton required 10,000 liters of water per kilogram of fiber. Flax required 700. Cotton required heavy pesticide application. Flax required minimal or none. Cotton monocultures destroyed soil biology. Flax cultivation enhanced it. The report concluded that flax was among the most sustainable fibers available. It received almost no media coverage. The cotton industry generates over $50 billion annually in the United States alone. The pesticide industry depends on cotton for 1/4 of its sales. The fertilizer industry counts cotton farmers among its best customers. These industries fund research institutions, lobby governments, and advertise heavily in media outlets. Flax threatens all of them simultaneously. If American farmers switched 10% of cotton acreage to flax, pesticide sales would drop by billions. Fertilizer demand would collapse. Irrigation infrastructure would become stranded assets. The industries that profit from cotton's weaknesses would face catastrophic losses, so they ensure you never hear about the alternative. Identifying flax is simple. The plant grows 2 to 4 feet tall with slender stems and delicate blue or white flowers. Seeds form in round capsules called bolls. The stems are fibrous and stringy when broken. Wild flax relatives grow across North America and Europe, though cultivated varieties produce superior fiber. Growing flax requires patience but minimal inputs. Plant seeds in early spring, densely spaced for fiber production, wider for seed harvest. The crop matures in 100 days. For fiber, harvest when stems turn yellow, but before seeds fully mature. Pull entire plants by hand or cut close to ground. Ret the stems by leaving them in the field to allow moisture and bacteria to separate fiber from woody core. This takes 2 to 4 weeks depending on weather. Then break, scutch, and hackle the fibers to produce spinnable linen. The process is labor-intensive. Industrial cotton processing is faster, but the result lasts 3,000 years instead of 3. We did not lose flax. The cotton industry buried it. The chemical industry profited from its disappearance. The machinery manufacturers optimized for its replacement, but the seeds survived. Heirloom varieties grow in botanical gardens and small farms across the world. The knowledge lives in Belgium and Ireland, in Lithuania and Egypt, in every culture that remembers what we forgot. Every linen shirt still worn is a rejection of planned obsolescence. Every farmer growing flax is land-freed from chemical dependency. Every fiber processed is strength that requires no petroleum, no pesticide, no fertilizer. They replaced it with a crop that demands constant inputs. They built an entire economy on fabric designed to fail. But pharaohs wrapped in linen still rest in museums 3,000 years after burial, wearing proof that permanence was always possible. The fiber that wrapped Ramesses is waiting. The crop that clothed 8,000 years of human civilization still grows. The only question is whether we remember before the cotton economy collapses under its own contradictions. If this route revealed something for you, subscribe to Recession Roots and hit the bell. Every like and every share preserves what they tried to bury under cotton. The next route breaks ground soon.